Alright, we have come to Mission 2 of the Brigmore, which is the Dead Eels. This is a longer mission, so it's going to take at least 2 videos. Probably not 3, but we'll see. Alright, let's go. Draper's War, the Dead Eels. With Lizzie Stride free, you now have a captain to take you upriver. Unfortunately, Lizzie's second-in-command, Edgar Wakefield, is running the old gang and won't hand over the ship without a fight. Deal with the traitor Wakefield and help Lizzie get her ship in working order. Let's get at all the favors. Hidden runes, sunken loot, and Rothwild labor. Some boot stealth. I don't think I can afford anything else yet, but I'm going to top up sleep darts and maybe another stun mine or 2. Yeah, I think that'll be fine for now.
The textile mill used to run off a water wheel before the canal went dry. It started up again recently, and whatever the Hatters did to get it working has enraged the Dead Eels. They're fighting in the streets.
Alright, now as soon as we start and come into Draper's ward, we got a gang battle going on.
Bring out the geezer!
We've been here 8 years. We ain't leaving.
When's your old man coming out to fight?
We've been met. There's something for you, little eels.
What's the matter? Too much to do?
Shit.
And while they fight, you can just watch. It's a good opportunity to just let them take care of each other for you. But one thing I want to do right away. Oh, well, do this the hard way.
You're making a racket, aren't you?
I give up. He got away.
I need a female body.
Someone wants to get kicked in the gob.
Sometimes the gang war is completely unscripted. It's just whatever the NPCs do. So sometimes you get a body, sometimes you gotta get one yourself. But I'm gonna do this right away before I forget. So the first thing we come to is this apartment with Granny's recipe. So we need one female body and one male body. Check the dumpsters for loot. Karnaka needs workers. And we know how that's going to turn out in the next game, don't we? Alright, so lay the 2 bodies down here in the circle, and the next thing is we need a ring. So Granny's wedding recreation, page torn from an old manuscript written in a scrawly hand. Bring a man to represent my black-eyed groom. Fetch a woman to represent me in my youth. Lay them together in the eternal circle, a wedding band to bind them, place on the silver tray. Do this for me, dearie, and I'll give you a wedding gift. Granny. So it can sometimes be hard to find all those bodies, so I'll do that right away. Dangerous experiment. I've come across some old writings that hint at a bizarre ritual, and I'm going to use it to prove to you, once and for all, that all this mystical stuff is just superstition. When I get back from my mission in the sewers, we'll do this. But there's a trick. You'll need a bride. Ha! Near as I can tell, she doesn't need to be willing. She doesn't even need to be awake. By the outsider's eyes, I don't think she needs to be alive. So you go secure a bride if you can, and I'll officiate this mock wedding. And so this apartment is the apartment of Pete, who is the Hatter's mechanic. So there are a couple of things of importance here. First, the Granny's recipe, but also up here he's got a locked cabinet, which has some interesting bit of information, a little loot. Need a key for that, and then a repurposing guide, excerpt from Machinery Manual 7. Rejigger mounting and unmounting. Remove the cover over the primary gear and set it aside. Remove the primary gear and replace it with the secondary gear from the alternate drive system. Manufacture and place dual counterbalance weights along the alternate drive system axle and unlink the damping coil at both ends. Remove and set aside the slide arm from the rejigger support. Open the slide arm piston shaft and remove the pistons. Reshape the slide arm pistons to the shorter specifications and reapply lubricant before closing the housing. Install the elongated slide arm into the rejigger support. Adjust the reverse spacer bolt at the junction between the alternate drive system axle and the new elongated slide arm until the interval suits the new application. I have no idea what any of that means, but clearly this is a machinery manual of some sort. So, yeah, this is Pete's apartment, and a couple ways of getting the combination that we need later in the mission, and one of them is in that cabinet. But for now, we can explore some more of Draper's ward. Out of business. To my loyal customers, I've done my best to provide a provisioning service to you even after all the decent citizens have abandoned Draper's ward. But now it is clear to me that there's no livelihood for me now, and that association with you will eventually cost me my life. To those who have never wronged me, I suggest you take your business to Jerome. He can be found in a second-floor apartment just a stone's throw away from here, next to Millinery Canal. His prices will climb now that I'm gone, but he seems like a fair enough man. For those who have wronged me, or have harassed me, stolen from me, and driven me from my home, I hope you suck on the barrel of a City Watch pistol someday. I'm sure you will all meet violent and unhappy endings. Goodbye, Mr. Mitchell. Mitchell's Marketplace. So, one of few businesses left after the place kind of went downhill. It's kind of a scripted event where the NPCs go and the Hatters and the Dead Eels go and fight each other again, leaving us to explore this side of the canal.
I admit, I'm stymied. I thought dragging it up out of the mud was the hard part, but I have no idea how to open it.
Hammers?
Really? Look at that thing. You think hammers will break it open?
Explosives.
Sure. The sound brings everyone with you.
You got these two Hatters
And what if it costs them?
trying to figure out how to open up this safe they brought out of the canal.
What could be in there?
You know what would be funny? If it wasn't locked.
So now that the canal is run dry,
Of course it's not.
which and,
Look at
we'll
it.
find out why, all this loot and stuff has kind of revealed itself. So
Stupid.
there's a lot of stuff down there that you can retrieve if you want. There's a little event over here that's very dependent on chaos.
It's over. Just make it quick.
Get up. Get up and we'll finish this.
I can't. There's something wrong in there. Feels like I'm burning inside. Kill me if that's what you want.
Find me when you can walk. You owe me a proper fight.
So there's this Hatter standing over one of the dead eels.
If you're here to kill me, make it fast or get lost. I thought I was finished. They'll never believe who saved me.
So in high chaos, he just kills the guy, but in low chaos, you can
You're no scrapper.
save him. Now back here, we can find that wedding band that we need, as well as the key to that vault. And it's hidden underneath this bush here, along with some coin. And what happened here is the dead eels actually have a white rat, a trained white rat that's been taking stuff from one side of the canal and bringing it back and storing it under here. And I'm not going to spend time watching for it, but you can actually find it.
So you know the Rothwell place got
Watch
shut
it.
down.
That's it.
Nope.
Come on, let's get this guy. You'll sleep in the river mud tonight.
And you can follow the rat from one side to the other as it brings. I don't know if it brings any extra loot, but you can just kind of something to
Look
see.
at this joker.
But that's where all
Must be
the
somebody. Get over here. Go down. Come on.
where the two things we need are. So again, you can kind of lure the one gang into attacking the other side, so they can, take each other out without adding to your kill count or chaos level. But now we got a key for this, and there's just some gold inside. But we now have the wedding band to complete Granny's recipe here. Oh, these guys are still after me.
Someone's about to get shanked. Somebody give me a hand. Don't let him get past.
I don't know if you can goad them into attacking the... There are 2 more hatters down here near this arc pylon. I don't think they moved from the location though, so maybe not. To come over to this very nice glass-covered sort of, I don't know what you'd call it, arcade, mall, little shopping area. There's a corrupted rune up, or corrupted charm right there. Yeah, so they have this kind of standoff going here. There's some outposts on the roof there. So if you look across the river, so if you look at the kind of the official map, canonical map, right across the river is supposed to be where the distillery district and Golden Cat are from the first game. So you want to orient yourself. Draper's Ward is supposed to be right across the river from that. You can't actually see it because they didn't bother to make the to make it look like it was actually that, but that's kind of where it's supposed to be. All right, let's go do Granny's recipe and get our rune. All right, there's that. But yeah, it's funny, this area, it reminds me so much of places in cities that were once kind of very utilitarian industrial areas, but then revitalized or gentrified into
Almost like it used to be.
swanky shopping districts. I think South Park made an episode making fun of this, but this is basically what Draper's Ward is.
Every man for himself.
There's an arc pylon there with a hat on top of it because it belongs to the Hatters. Now to turn off this arc pylon, a couple things you can do. You can rewire it. There's a rewire box, and one of these guys has a key to the whale oil tank box. So you have to unlock it. Well, he doesn't have it. Alright, so if you can blink down here, you're between these 2 rolls of fabric, so you're out of line of sight. Pylon instructions. Evans, be cautious with his equipment. It is very delicate and requires a skilled touch to operate. It is also quite lethal, so if you do not follow proper procedures, you will cease to exist in the wink of an eye. Acquiring this technology took a great deal of politicking and expense, so I repeat, do not be reckless with it. Once the system is set up and operational, we will never see a dead eel darkening our doorway. The mill will become an impregnable fortress. Report any technical issues to me. Nurse Trimble. So we'll meet Nurse Trimble a little bit later. So if you want to turn this off, there's a tank box, and then you got to get the key from... Yep, this guy. Open up the box and turn it off. Right, there's a arc mine, but I'm topped off on those. Alright, so we can't go to the textile mill yet. Chesney Clothing Company, Mortimer Hats. So Mortimer Hat was well, first he was a gangster, then he became a businessman, selling basically high-end clothes to the rich, along with these other people. Oliver and Chesney, they were kind of the ones who built up this little shopping area here, and they became sort of legitimate businessmen until it came out that they were actually gangsters. Or look out for the trained rat. Hey Jasper, one of the dead eels apparently trained some white rats to come to this side of the canal and fetch shiny objects back to him. So far they've taken a few coins and a couple of bullets back over to eel territory. Pike saw one carrying a coin and tried to shoot it, but his marksmanship is lacking. Ha! Be wary of them and crush the little things if you get the chance. If one swipes one of the tools or keys or something like that, you'll be a laughingstock. Baldwin.
Is that...
Yeah, so once it came out that that Mortimer Hat was actually, I mean, gangster, the wrong kind of gangster, I guess. The rich didn't want to be associated with them, and the district kind of started going downhill. And that was before the plague too. So this place kind of got a double whammy of bad luck. Alright, let's go see Jerome. See if I can blink across here. Yep. Jerome's Black Market Shop.
Welcome to the Draper's Ward Salvage and Resale, or the Black Market if you'd prefer. It's Daud, right? Recognized your face from the posters. Not that I'd ever say anything to anyone, believe me. I'd be happy to have you for a customer.
What are you selling?
Tell me what strikes your fancy.
Not sure how much I need. Get a few more sleep darts. One of those. You can buy Oxrush flour if you don't find it. I'm not going to buy it because I know where it is. But you can buy it from him. And then if you talk to him a second time...
You consider doing a job for me? There's a man whose debt to me is well past due.
I'm not a bill collector.
I don't want the money. I want his head. I'd pay you well. And you can use the money to buy things from me.
I'll do it.
Huh. Thank you. Skinflint is a chain smoker. He likes to light up in the old canal tunnel and play Nancy for coin. I'd start there. Make an example of him.
Got it. Now let me see what you've got.
Please, take your pick.
Don't know why he does that twice. I don't need it now. So Jerome is, he'll let you basically loot everything in his apartment, so you can just take all this stuff. He doesn't care for some reason. Jerome's search for Oxrush. Hello, Griff. Hey, we know Griff from the first game. Hope your business is going well. If you're interested, I have a little business proposal for you. The canal here in Draper's Ward has been dry for some time now. Enough time for the prized Oxrush to take bloom in the mud. None of the ruffians patrolling this area know how special the flower can be, so I have no competition in harvesting them, but none of the alchemists or natural philosophers that can use them frequent this district anymore. Perhaps I can send you some bunches of Oxrush to peddle, for a commission of course, and I can help you tap into an ammunition market here in Draper's Ward. The gangs have gone into full-scale war, so demand is high. Let me know your thoughts. Jerome. So we know where Griff gets his ammunition that we bought from him in the first game. And you can actually pickpocket his key, and he's got a vault over here. And he never notices that stuff has been taken. It's amazing. Alright, so let's go down into Millinery Canal. A couple of things we can do. So you see it's dry now. And like I said, this has revealed a lot of loot like that we can pick up. And here's the Oxrush. So you can pick it, you get it for free. Don't need to buy it. And then one of our favors was a hidden rune over here. Warning from an anonymous friend. Hello, friend. As instructed by your whalers, I have dredged this horrid thing up from the depths of the storm drains and placed it in the agreed-upon location in hopes that you, and only you, recover it. But be warned, poor fortune has followed me every step of the way since laying hands on this thing, and I am overjoyed at the prospect of leaving it here and being done with it. May it treat you better than it has me. And if some unlucky local has stumbled upon this wicked bone, heed these 2 warnings. As I have said above, poor fortune will follow you. But more importantly, this is intended for delivery to the most dangerous man in the Empire. If you are in possession of something he wants, you may count your remaining hours on one hand. Very dramatic. And there's lots of little bits of coin and other things kind of laying on the ground. so you might have to go through a few times if you want to be sure and get it all. But Skinflint is hiding in this little side tunnel here. Skinflint his model is just a random NPC, so the model that he uses changes, randomly with every game. So he may take on other forms. All right, and yeah, there he is. So that's what he looks like now. If you reload, he might look different. If you're doing a clean hands run, you can actually just lie. You can lie to Jerome and say, "Oh yeah, I killed him," even if he totally didn't. He'll still believe you and he'll pay you. So you can actually do this little side action without actually doing it.
All these rats crawling all over everything. I hope you're keeping my little job in mind.
Skinflint is dead.
Delightful. As agreed, your reward. Tell me what strikes your fancy.
So it's only 50 coin, but
Yeah. Someone's still prowling.
alright, so there's this rooftop
Half the city
outpost here we can go visit.
won't make it 3 more months.
We're losing business. I ain't doing what's got to be done.
Who's that?
Somebody give me a hand! Please.
Is that?
Complaints from a dead eel guard. This post is awful. I almost broke my neck getting up here. And all day the hatters keep taking shots at me like I'm some kind of carnival game. This morning I saw some lady up on the glass roof across the canal, and it kind of has me worried. I think she looked right at me. How'd she get up there? Are the hatters recruiting ladies now? Anyway, since she's been up there, I can barely make out this thing she's left behind. Can't tell what it is from here, but come nightfall I might just climb up there and have a look. Gotta be wary of that arc pylon they set up down there. If they have that kind of gear, we're just outmatched. I wish Lizzie was back. She'd get us out of this. So there's a witch scout that tends to drop corrupted charms everywhere she goes to when she blinks away. It's very strange. History of Draper's Ward, excerpt from the Districts of Dunwall recent book. This chapter will focus on the once lavish Draper's Ward. Before the reign of the Caldwin dynasty, the locale held none of the prestige that it has so recently enjoyed. Draper's Ward was once a simple manufacturing hub for fabrics and textiles, exporting raw weaves to all corners of the empire. Water-driven mills turned day and night to meet the needs of the rapidly expanding cloth industries. For decades, Draper's Ward supported a modest trade until key manufacturers began relocating factories to Serkonos and Morley. The price of labor in these places was much lower, and the limited availability of Dunwall riverfront property, which was required to turn the mills, made expansion of operations impossible. At the end of this period, declining production and abandoned factories created an opportunity for a new generation of skilled and ambitious industrialists. A loose confederation of clothing merchants included such luminaries as Percy Oliver, Agatha Chesney, and Mortimer Hatt established a new model of business. High-end clothing that was designed to appeal to Dunwall's elite, sold at a substantial markup. The best sartorial designers from across the empire were lured to the boutiques of Draper's Ward, where they found themselves freed from the need to solicit patrons. In fact, they were elevated to high society, courted, and pampered. The powerful and influential began to frequent the new Draper's Ward, paying any cost to be seen in the latest styles. The district was wildly successful. Extravagant wealth and luxury among the proprietors and designers became the norm. But not all was glamour and fun. Reinventing Draper's Ward was an expensive project, and investigations into the sources of capital funding this revitalization often led to dead ends. It was commonly whispered that Mortimer Hatt had been a ruthless gang leader in his early years, and it was a very poor secret among the City Watch that he still commanded a private army of hardened men that would protect his interests. A terrible truth emerged over time. While the designers and merchants held court in exclusive boutiques, the mills and factories that produced the clothing were houses of suffering and abuse. Despite the coin generated by their business, the workers who stitched the garments never took part in the flow of wealth. Instead, Hatsmen enforced brutal working conditions on them. As this corruption intensified, with violence occasionally spilling out into open streets, the well-to-do declined further invitations to shop at the boutiques. Business fell precipitously, and now with rumors of plague looming on the horizon, the golden age of Draper's Ward may soon be at an end. Yeah, so the place was originally industrial, and then it became fashionable, and now it's falling off again. Sounds very familiar. Okay, I think now we can visit the dressmaker. Very odd character. Dressmaker's studio. You see some very familiar drawings and other things.
Who are you? Are you with her?
With her?
Delilah. Are you with her? No, but you don't have any roses.
What can you tell me about Delilah?
I used to make clothing for the Caldwins, you see. I adored them, especially young, precocious Emily. She was such a delight. Did you ever meet the Empress? She was so
just once,
special.
but
And I was able to count her among my
he
friends.
didn't really speak too much.
I had a lock of hair from young Emily, a keepsake given to me by the family when my hands grew too stiff and clumsy to work the needle. I have treasured it so.
And Delilah?
She visited me here.
Weird.
Such a surprise to see her, all grown up, so serious. Did you know she was once a playmate of Jessamine's? Before she was Empress, when they were both little. I thought it was a cordial visit at first, but it turned frightening.
What happened?
She made things come out of the shadows, long and grasping. I can still feel the cold on my neck. I sound mad, don't I? Perhaps I am. She questioned me and left me propped in the corner like a bolt of cloth. I couldn't move for 3 nights while she made the horrid markings you see now. Then she stole my only keepsake, my lock of hair from dear, sweet Emily. Ah, Emily, where are you? Damn that Corvo, and damn Delilah.
Yeah, so very strange. He's called the dressmaker, but there are no dresses in this game. I think I mentioned before, all the women wear these pantsuit things. So I'm not sure why he's called the
so
dressmaker.
much about a person by their clothes.
And he's got
Yours tell quite a tale.
he's got Emily's drawings, and I don't know how he got these because note from Lady Boyle. My dearest friend, my costume ball will require 3 tailored outfits that are perfectly matching except for color. We are going to play a game with our guests, you see. I am saddened to hear of your deteriorating hands and the hard times on which you have fallen, as you are my first choice to craft these costumes. I will mention your physical difficulties to my doctor at the party. Perhaps he can be of some service to you. Farewell, Lady Boyle. Yeah. But yeah, he's got Emily's drawings, which
Half the
we
city's
saw her
dead.
making at the same time
won't
as
make
this
it 3
is
more
taking
months.
place. I don't know what's going on here. He's also got Mrs. Pilson for some reason, her doll. Very creepy. I don't know what's going on with this guy. But
Half the city's dead.
I don't know if you can
We won't make
pickpocket
it
anything.
3 more months.
No. But if you go just outside on the balcony, there's a
Is that?
mana potion there. I think that's pretty much it. Alright, let's go to the riverfront.
hard man, but he's not as fun as Lizzie. Lizzie enjoyed it more.
Yeah, even Lizzie never drowned victims in a sack. I can still see him squirming for air.
Yeah. How's he gonna top that?
Edgar Wakefield is on board the Undine. He's put all of the eels on alert since Lizzie's rumored to have escaped from Coldridge. He's expecting her. You will undoubtedly be a surprise to him.
Got anything to smoke or eat?
Huh.
Notes from a Hatter spy. Mr. Hat. There has been interesting activity since our raid on the dead eels a few days ago. It looks like Wakefield has been rooting out Lizzie loyalists and chasing them off, or making an example out of them with some gruesome killing. I don't think he's got much of a hold on this gang, and things are likely to fly apart before long. Also, I swear I saw a woman lurking on some nearby rooftops last night, spying on the eels. She saw me looking at her and just disappeared. Perhaps you'll know what to make of that. Oscar. Trimble's Coin. Excerpt from a book on noteworthy intellectual figures. The halls of the Academy of Natural Philosophy are thought to be spaces where a thoughtful discourse and enlightened tolerance set the tone for debate and learning. It is believed that reason applies above all, and the passions of the greatest minds of the Empire are tempered by wisdom and custom. This is the commonly accepted vision of the place, and it is almost always accurate. Almost. Sometimes a protracted debate or disagreement can explode into conflict, and very rarely, violence. Such was the case years ago in the Month of Winds. A young apprentice named Piero Joplin ventured into a strange new directions of research in the preservation of mortifying tissue, a field that brought him into frequent conflict with a student called Trimble. Joplin and Trimble often debated loudly long into the night, and the content of these arguments was well beyond the understanding of most people of the Empire, the author included. The rivalry between these two natural philosophers raged for months, but it is the climax of those events that prompts this writing. The two had argued deep into the night, the debate sliding into bitter personal attacks. At last they reached a terrible accord. Their mutual hatred culminated in a duel to the death, with pistols. Under the grey sky of dawn, the greatest minds of the Empire of the Isles gathered in the courtyard in a fashion resembling schoolboys gathering to watch two bullies fight. A quiet fell as Joplin and Trimble accepted the ceremonial pistols, marked off the paces, turned, and fired. Each combatant fired round after round, shattering windows, chipping masonry, and splitting plaster. The closest shot to the mark was Joplin's, whose bullet ripped through the hem of Trimble's overcoat. It was clear that the dedicated study of the learned men had made for poor marksmanship. When all of their ammunition was expended, both parties stood quivering with fear and rage, but unharmed. It was then agreed that a duel would be settled with a coin flip. A newly minted coin of the Empire was produced, bearing the face of Empress Jessamine Calduin. As it was sent spinning into the air, Trimble called heads. The coin landed tails. Joplin was declared winner, and the feuding between the men ceased. By the terms of the dispute, Trimble was forced to leave the Academy, his studies left incomplete, whereupon a dignified silence returned to the halls of the Academy of Natural Philosophy. So the two were both such awful shots, they just shot at each other, and they both missed over and over again. And they had a coin toss. That's great. Alright, so there's a witch on the ledge across from this window here. And the thing is, if you look directly at her, she will blink away. You can kind of see her there just in the middle of the bottom part of the window there. But if you center your crosshair on her, she will blink away. So, you can get her though. So, what I like to do is some choke dust. So if you don't look at her, but throw some choke dust through the window. Through the window. There we go. And then you can either blink over there or sleep dart. Sleep darter. Okay, I looked too closely. Let me try that again. Oh, there she went. as she's disoriented. Jeez. There we go. You can also blink over there and choke her out if you want. Finally, you can catch this witch that has been
Sitting next to the river.
blinking away as soon as you look at her.
Canal, at least.
And there's a corrupted charm right next to her.
All those prancing nobles in their fancy
And that's a
masks.
special action, I believe.
Strip them of their jewels and set them on fire. Finest time in the world.
Drown them. Drowning's worse.
Set on fire's worse.
Drowned is worse.
You ever see a man set on fire? What does he do? He jumps in the water.
Very funny.
Alright, so from this we know that this mission takes
Wakefield
place...
sealed himself
Jeez.
in the cargo hold of the Undine. Smuggling ships like this one often have a hatch underneath for dumping contraband if they get caught. Perhaps the Undine is no different.
Thank you, Thomas. So this mission takes place...
Boat? Wakefield's probably below decks. Whatever I do to him, it will be a mercy compared to what Lizzie has in mind.
Thank you. This mission takes place in the same day as the Boyle party, so it's actually later, you know, that night on the same day.
Ever get that creepy feeling of being watched? I've had that a bunch lately.
Funny you ask me. I had this feeling of eyes on me. I looked up on the roof of that building over there.
Yeah, well, don't have to worry about that anymore.
Daud, this is the second time now. I see something, or someone, out of the corner of my eye. But when I turn, they're gone. Someone is watching us.
Yes, Thomas, thank you. The hand-holding just gets worse and worse as the game goes on, and it's, of course, much worse in the second game. Alright, so this warehouse, you have to get through this underground... There's this underground entrance, and there's a rune and a shrine here. Oh, here we go again, my worst enemy in this whole franchise, trying to get out of the water. Never ends. Finally, jeez. Is that it? Okay.
You keep surprising me, Daud. Not long ago, I watched you kill an empress and steal her child for coin. For a man like that, you went through Coldridge Prison with an awfully soft touch. I wonder, are you hoping it will change the way things work out? Maybe. Maybe not. The song's almost over, and when the music stops, we all fall down.
A little bit of loot in this boat I saw. Okay, so one of our other favors is this sunken crate. You gotta go dive and get it, and it can be a little tricky because there are some hagfish that are really vicious. Like, they will probably kill you if you try to go down here normally, so I like to just stop time so I can grab all the... There's a bone charm, some other stuff, and get back up here. Alright, I think the next thing to do is go take care of Wakefield, and oh, looks like I got some attention. He's gonna come all the way over here.
Come on, let's get this guy!
Okay, so the sneakiest way of getting in is through the hatch on the bottom. I don't know how this actually works in a boat, like why it doesn't make the boat sink, but whatever. Open up this hatch, and once again, I gotta fight with the game to get through a stupid hole.
Prisoners locked up.
There we go.
Boat is smaller than I remember.
Alright, there's Wakefield around that corner there. Edgar Wakefield's log entry. It's going to pieces. I was just getting things under control, but now we hear Lizzie busted out of Coldridge. How? The dead eels are starting to swing my way. And I even think we'll wipe out those accursed hatters soon. Mr. Hat humiliated me something awful with that raid to steal our engine coil, and payback was going to be me taking a piss in his stovepipe. And now that Lizzie is free again, I've got the crew on high alert. Orders to kill anyone that ain't one of us. I'm starting to think I bit off more than I can chew. You think so, Edgar? Alright, so there are a couple of ways. You can just take him out immediately, but he also has a dialogue option if you want to talk to him.
How'd it come to this? Lizzie's on her way. I just know it. Might as well slit my own throat.
It might be best.
You're Daud. What brings you here?
Lizzie Stride owes me a favor.
I'm sorry to hear that. You see, the watch picked her up. I'm trying to hold things together while she's in Coldridge.
Oh, is that it?
I'm awfully busy at the moment.
Oh.
I won't take too much of your time, but there's the matter of that favor.
Yeah? What exactly does she owe you for?
First, for getting her out of Coldridge. Second, for what's about to happen right now.
You kind of want to take him out before he calls for
Time to signal Lizzie.
anyone else.
Lizzie Stride is assuming control of the dead eels now. She's ordered them to give you safe passage.
Your friend Edgar Wakefield set me up to be taken by the City Watch, and you followed him. Took his orders. But you know what? I forgive you. All of you. I'm filled with love. But the following people each owe me a finger. Logan, Douglas, Bang Bang, Ferris, Pigface, the Bakers, and Annabelle.
Shit.
2 from you, Annabelle. Have a good night. That piece of garbage, Edgar. I'm still living with his incompetence. He let the Hatters cripple the Undine.
The ship seems fine to me.
They took the engine coil. We're dead in the water.
What is it? Can we make a new one?
They don't make them anymore, not for an engine like the Undine's. We'll have to get it back.
The geezer still leads the Hatter gang, right? I'll pay him a visit.
It won't be that easy. There's a snag.
Always is. What's this one?
The geezer's about 100 years old by now. He's got it rigged so that if he dies, the whole place gets gassed. So they're real careful around him. Got him a nurse and everything. Maybe you can cut a deal for that engine coil. Turn on the charm. One of the Hatters gave me their door password in exchange for keeping the rest of his fingers. It's whalebone. I never got to use it on account of the gas. And being in jail.
Just be ready to move when I get back.
Okay. The dead eels are now neutral, and a couple of other bits of loot we can search around for. I'm sure there are more that I've found, but
What the fuck are you looking at?
Doesn't
Shut
mean
up.
there's an invisible man
This place is dead. Pity.
Alright, so if you go on top of here and through this little opening, they got a weeper and a tripwire. They got a weeper kind of penned up in here. And there is also a rune and a book. So okay, it's 5 runes. Corrupted Charms. Excerpt from an Overseer report on black market occult artifacts. The following note was found at the site of a ritual murder attached to the victim's face by 9 fishhooks arranged in a suspicious pattern. We inferred that the 2 parties were involved in a conflict over the construction and sale of a superstitious charm, using pieces from older, possibly damaged, heretical artifacts. Full investigation recommended, focused on the person named Lilica in Serkonos. Lilica, you cheat. For months I poured coin into your pockets, paying for all the things you requested. Food and lodging at the outskirts of town, livestock with birth defects whose purpose I cannot imagine, toxic plants and alchemical materials. The baboon blood and cartilage of deep-dwelling fish were not cheap, I assure you. But even more costly was the scrimshaw I painstakingly acquired from sailors during the past year. Carved from the bones of whales and said to hum with powers from beyond the world, these cost me half my savings. As you swore that you could provide me with the charm I wanted. I was quite clear. I had your word that I would be able to visit Abrielle in my dreams, that I could woo her while sleeping. You promised that she would love me. Instead, you delivered to me this lump of old bones, scratched and hacked at, wired together as if made by a child. For 2 weeks I kept it close to my heart. And at night when I slept, I did see Abrielle. Oh, yes. I saw her lying with everyone I've ever hated, rivals and enemies who've bested me in business or in sport, men who have bullied or insulted me, including my infernal older brother. I woke each morning clenching my teeth in shame and rage. Such terrible nosebleeds I suffered, and my hair began to fall out in clumps. I threw the cursed thing into the lake just to be rid of it. You told me you were a sorcerer, a simple charlatan, more like. Be that as it may, I want you to know the day I decided to ruin your life. I will punish you for thinking me an idiot and taking my money. I could send an anonymous message, delivered to the nearest Overseer outpost, but what I have got in mind is more fitting. There is a gang that operates in Karnaca, assassins. I want you to know that all my remaining funds will be spent putting a contract on your pretty head. You will never see me again, Lilica, but when the butcher's blade falls on your neck, or when the poison in your milk takes hold, I want you to remember that this is how I repay those who cheat me. So, a little introduction to corrupted bone charms. They grant something, but they take something in return. So, I typically tend not to use them. I mean, it's generally not worth equipping them for what you have to pay for it. Maybe in certain situations. Oh, forgot about that tripwire. I think it was meant to keep the Weeper in, so it didn't hurt me. All right, let's go to the Draper's Ward Mill area.
Got anything to smoke or eat?
You'll sometimes hear these random gun blasts. They're not coming from anywhere in particular as far as I can tell. They're just part of the background noise, so... already read that. Alright, let's go to the mill.
What's the password?
Whalebone.
Come in, Hatter.
Sir, The Hatters are using the textile machines to make shrouds for the plague dead.
Now we know why they took the engine coil.
The man who runs the Hatters is more cunning than he looks. He can flood this place with a toxic gas. In time, it'll eat through our air filters. You may have to make a deal.
Okay, I think that's a good place to stop for now. I think I can probably get the rest of it in one more video. So I'll do a hard save, and yeah, I think that'll be it for this video. So, all right, thanks once again for watching, and hope you watch the next one. Thanks a lot.